Good morning, everybody. Jim Cooper again, Editor-in-Chief at Digiday, and we are at Possible, day 2 of 2025, and we're really excited to have Avery Akkineni, who's the CMO of VaynerX, joining us in the studio today. So nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
How's your Possible been so far?
It has been fantastic. So I'm actually a Miami local, so it's lovely to have 5,200 people in town from the marketing industry. We started on Sunday, so day 3.
Good. So during your time across Possible, these 3 days, what's the most important conversation you think you'll have that you'll bring back to your people at VaynerX?
The most important conversation we're having right now with our people and also with our clients and partners is the transition from paid, owned, earned to own, earned, paid. When people think about their media framework, we've all been trained in this idea of thinking paid first. In particular at Possible, this is a little bit more of a media-centric conference than a creative-centric conference. People think paid, then they think owned, then they think earned. Our belief at Vayner is that brands in 2025 need to be thinking of owned first, then earned, then paid, just due to the transformation of the social platforms and how they've been able to impact businesses.
Great. So we're in this sort of odd time of sort of economic uncertainty. We're not exactly sure where the market's going to go. How are you navigating that for your clients, and what's the message you'd like to get out there to maybe sort of like bring the tension down maybe?
You know, I feel like there's always tension. There's always something going on in the world. And this year is certainly no different with the conversation around tariffs and economic uncertainty and what's going to happen next. And I feel like we've seen this movie before and we've seen this play out. So we do a lot of contingency planning at Vayner with our partners, both planning for, supply chain shifts and also planning for new opportunities. Right now, we're kind of still in that contingency mode of planning because we haven't really seen that hit yet. But we're thinking ahead of how we can be strategic and leverage our resources. Back to the conversation on own, earned, paid, I think it becomes even more central to the conversation of thinking owned first, of what we as brands can do to create our reach that then is, of course, amplified by media and PR.
So what are some of the interesting tools or creative solutions you've developed to accomplish that? I mean, is AI in your toolkit?
AI is absolutely our toolkit. I would say AI is sort of like woven into the foundation of what we are doing at Vayner. We don't necessarily have a whole separate initiative or creative function. It's really just sort of baked into the way that our teams are working now. On the media side, you'll recall this, Jim. AI algorithms used to just be called machine learning. So this is something that we've already been leaning into a lot through our partners at Google and Meta and TikTok and all of the algorithmically driven platforms. And on a creative side, we've certainly used a lot of new tools. I mean, Adobe's come a really long way. Shutterstock. There's so many of these partners who've really made this easy to kind of bake into our existing process and partnerships. So I think that's almost like an underpinning, like undercurrent. Of course, we'll continue innovating with AI. But really what we've been leaning most into is the social platforms. Anyone can make a post today. Any single person at this conference can make a post today that goes viral, and it can go viral for good reasons or not good reasons. As you know, this interview, who knows, God forbid it goes viral, right? Without media amplification behind it, like millions of people could potentially see this. Right. Actually at CES, I was doing a talk very similar to this, and my team clipped it and we posted it, and I got 3 million impressions, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep.
So, if you make relevant content and you post it on platforms, in our view at Vayner, there's about 7 key platforms, and it's the right person, the right time, with the right message that breaks through, then you can really hit sort of like viral success. And then, of course, we think about how to amplify that message through paid media, through PR distribution channels.
Right. I've always thought Vayner is such an interesting example of an agency that is creator created. Like it's your very foundation.
Your own business.
Right. So where do you see the creator economy sort of evolving? And how should brand marketers be thinking about it?
Yeah, we had a really interesting chat yesterday with a bunch of our CMO friends talking about the sort of convergence of like creators in Hollywood. Because if you think previously, it was like, oh, a talent was, picked by Jeffrey Katzenberg and like then became famous in Hollywood. You needed 5 Grammys or 5 Oscars to kind of get there. Now, and a lot of the people speaking at Possible are great examples of this. These are also creators who are famous from TikTok, famous from LinkedIn is a new thing, famous from YouTube. Gary's a perfect example of that. I think we're a unique case because Gary went from working at his dad's wine store to being an international celebrity through the power of social media and the power of personal brand building. And along the way, he built a 2,500 person ad agency and many other different businesses. But the power of personal brand is really showcased, I think, in our business.
Great. Last question. You as a CMO, and you talk with your clients, but also talk with other marketers as well. What do you think is mission critical for senior marketers who are trying to navigate going forward in this uncertain landscape? What's mission critical to be doing now to be competitive and relevant in, say, 2 years?
Mission critical to be successful in 2025 to 2027 is understanding and executing upon the opportunity that we have in front of us with organic social. I think that is something that is being severely underestimated by many of my, CMO contemporaries. I think people think a lot about, you've mentioned AI, right? Everybody's asking, what about AI? What about AI? There is no more powerful AI algorithm than the ones that are propelling these social platforms, which continue to capture more and more and more and more of our attention. So I think that is the thing that is mission critical to get right, is understand and execute on the opportunity in front of you with organic social, and then weave that into amplifying, selling whatever SKU you want to sell, building whatever relationships you want to build, but using organic social as that sort of foundational first piece.
Great. All right. Avery Akkineni is the CMO of VaynerX. Avery, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.